YouTube world, it's Johnny Mo coming to you with a very special afternoon video. I want to talk to you today about do some question and answer, and I gave you a little segue here about how you can do awesome work and still go out of business. And the reason for that is because you don't know your numbers. Like we're getting ready to go through a dry time. Am I sweating? Do I look worried? Do I look happy? Why? Because I'm going to get some time off. I'm going to go on vacation is what I'm going to do. But if you're struggling in this business, if you're struggling with going through dry times, it's more likely, honestly, because you don't know your numbers. It's because you don't even know what it takes to make your business click. If you're not running a monthly budget, here's one thing I will say. I'm not going to say everything that I do or all my equipment will work for you. But there's one thing I know. You can be the best mower or the best technician in the field and still go out of business, because this is a universal truth, and that is this. You don't know your numbers, you're gone. And you go through dry times like we're about to. We could lose the whole month of August. Honestly, we could park the trailer. After next week and we don't get any rain, the lawns are done. You're not mowing anymore. So, for me, that's about a little over $2,000 a week out the window. So let's say that's $8,000 right there for the month. What are you going to do? I ask these questions not for so much myself. I ask these questions, so that you would think deeply and think about your business in a way that you're just more than a technician. You're a business owner. You really need, either you need to be really good with the numbers, or you need to have a accountant that's really keeping a great eye on your numbers. I know plenty of guys that they have no clue. They look at their receipts way at the end of the year. No big deal, whatever. I'm good. I got money in my checking account. You're never going to expand. You're never going to get beyond where you are. And you're always going to be wondering why I can't make it. Because, like I said, it doesn't take too long to run a profit and loss for every day. How much did you spend? Today, got gas. Gas today was $68. That would go in the loss section. What did I do? What was the cost to run my business today? And so these are questions that, people ask. I had a question like, well, what should I do now that it's getting dry? There are some things, but if you're asking that question now, generally it's too late. Generally, you don't have enough work on the books. You've got all your eggs in one basket. And I'm going to answer this question because I've had questions like, well, Johnny, why do you even landscape? Why is your schedule all messed up? Like, why do you ask scheduling questions? Well, here's why. Because I don't want all my eggs in one basket. Because I've lived through a drought that lasted 5 months. And I know what it feels like to not have any work. Doesn't take brain surgery to figure out what I need to do. So I book enough work that I can at least make the monthly budget. Now, go back to some of my other videos, and I want you to remember, in the Northeast and the Midwest, we have winter. So generally, by Thanksgiving, we're done mowing and leaf cleaning and all that. That's done. So from November all the way till April 1st, generally we don't have any work. I can start a little bit earlier in March. I can do a few cleanups, but nothing significant. So generally, you won't get paid for April work until May. So you got to really fund all your operating costs from April and basically half of May. So you might as well just take it out to June 1st. So what I do is I fund myself from December 1st clean till, well, no, I take it back, from January 1st, because this November will pay for December. So January 1st clean to June 1st, which is 5-6 months. So at least 5 months of income need to be in the bank by Labor Day. That's the ticket. Because after Labor Day, like for guys that are spending a bunch of money right now, you're spending a whole bunch of money, we'll get it caught up. Well, right now, those guys that are saying that in the Pittsburgh area, you're about to lose about a month's worth of income. Seriously. You're about to lose a month's worth of income. And if you don't have other money and you don't know your numbers, you're going to be in trouble. So what are you going to do? I'm asking it not for you know, what am I going to do? I'm funded. It doesn't matter to me. I've been funded before July 4th. My winter money's already there. Everything I'm making now is all profit. It's beautiful. I can do whatever I want. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? When you get a system down and you work the system, you'll understand it. And if you continue, this is why my channel is here. I'm unlike any other channel that's on. I'm teaching you the business practicalities on how to run the business, not how to sit there and make beautiful stripes and edge out stuff, because that's all. You can be the best technician in the world and be broke. That's why my channel is here, to help you out. So I'm not a big guy. I do not like having all my eggs in one basket. I don't believe in it. That's why I don't strictly mow. I think it's one of the worst things you can do in business. Go ahead. Go through. I've been through about 4 droughts, and they are devastating when you don't have any money in the bank. But once you figure it out, dry times is nothing to you. Now, for those guys in California, you know, it's time for a career change. I don't think the weather pattern is going to change for you guys. I think you're going to have to look into something, painting lawns or whatever. You know, Texas just went through a serious drought. I've never been through a 3-year drought. I've been through a 5-month drought, which basically wiped out all of 2001. It happened again in 2002. It took out about 2.5 to 3 months. That was a rough one. I had to really sell a lot of upsells. What I did to recover from the 2002 drought is I sold a lot of aerations over seeding to really help, you know, boost that end of the year income. 2003, it rained all the time. 2003, 4, and 5, it just rained. 2006, we went through another drought. It only took a month and a half out. You know, this year it looks like it might take about a month and a half out. So dry weather is something that you have to plan for. It's going to happen to you at some point. Doesn't matter where you're at in the country. It just seems like, you know, they say it always rains in Seattle. Well, look at it now. They're under severe drought right now, and it doesn't look like it's going to rain anytime soon. So you have to prepare in the good times for the bad times. It's amazing to me that people do not prepare as if nothing bad is ever going to happen to you. You know, I had a guy question me about scheduling, like, you know, why don't you just put all your mowing in 4 days and just, you know, then you can landscape Friday and Saturday. On the surface, that looks like that would be a good thing for me to do. Here's the problem. Where I'm from, I cut acreage. I cut high-end lawns. I stripe them. I use 0 turns. And to get to those lawns and get to the money, I have to travel 20 minutes north, 15, 20 minutes south. I do have 1 day around me, but it's a little bit scattered around me. It's not like there's a lot of developments where I live. So what happens is, if I were to try to combine those days, a couple of those days, I'm going to have to travel 20 and 20, that's 40, to get across town. Now, it's 20 minutes. It might take me 30 to 35 to get all the way to the other end, you know, depending on traffic and everything. So now you've got 20 minutes up there. You got a whole hour, and sometimes it's not worth it to go down there and cut 2 lawns just to knock it off the next day's list to make it easier. You know, go cut, you know what I mean? So the way I have it set up is, and it's on purpose, here's how I do it. So my scheduling goes like this. Monday, Thursday, Friday are like about 8.5 hours. Monday's probably my biggest day of mowing. Probably 8.5, depending on how bad they are. About 8.5 hours. Thursday is about 8 hours. Friday's about 8 hours. So my Tuesday, Wednesday list is light. So I put 7 hours between the 2 days where there's nothing. I can either go pruning in those, or do some mulching, or do some fertilizing, or something in those blocks. So what I've done is I've created 7 hours for rain and emergencies. And what also I've done, say it rains like 2 or 3 days, I've created 3 hours at night on 3 different days where I can go from like 8 o'clock to 6, 7 o'clock, and I can actually catch the list up. See, if you have a schedule that's jam-packed, you're never going to get caught up. So let's say that you put mowing over, you don't get it done till Monday. Well, guess what? you don't get paid. You miss a week of mowing, you miss a week of mowing. You've missed out on income. It cracks me up. Guys are like, I have 100 lawns. Yep. And I can cut about 60 of them every week. Well, what about the other 40? Well, I get to them. I try to get to them next week, and then we put them back on schedule, and by the end of the year, it all washes. I'd rather cut 60 lawns and get them cut every week than cut 100 lawns and just constantly rotating and rotating and rotating. Now, there are some tips and tricks. When you have the clientele that I have, they're not going to complain about if you get backed up. Now, it's only happened to me twice in 20 years. Where I've got so backed up, I had to do my Friday list on a Monday and then go ahead and put it back on list on Friday. So I cut them twice that week. My customers don't care. I don't have a customer list that's, you know, fussy. Like, they just want their grass cut. They want it to look good. That's why I said I cut high-end acreage where, you know, doctors, lawyers, business owners, they don't have time to worry about their lawn. They want to come home, see it striped up. Everything looks pretty good. They pull in the garage, they go about their day. They sign a check at the end of the month, and that's the end of it. You know, when I used to cut in the city and had to cut lawns, and can you cut it every 10 days? You know, it's getting hot out. Can you cut it every 14 days? Can you cut it shorter, Johnny? Can you? No, I don't want to deal with that. And I'm not being arrogant. There's a place for that. I get it. I just don't want to do it. I did it when I first started. I never want to do it again. And, you know, the customers I have now, just, they don't bother with you, you know, whatever. Johnny, hey, I'm going to go ahead and pull the weeds today and charge you an extra 25 bucks. Whatever, Johnny. Go ahead. I don't even ask anymore. I just do it. Hey, the rose bushes need trimmed out. Okay, trim them out. I don't even ask anymore. I just put it on the bill at the end of the month. They don't care. And that's where you got to get to if that's what you want to do. I mean, you can do whatever you want to do. That's just what works for me. So that's why I run the schedule that I do. Knowing your numbers, the importance of knowing your numbers. There's a lot of tips in this video. This video is huge, filled with tips. What to do if you're dry right now. You want to book some hedge trimmings, you know, do some side work, do what you need to do to keep going. The most important part is, what does it take to crack the nut for this month that there's no work? So I know to a T what I need to make the month of August to pay my bills. I know to a T. And that's why it frustrates me sometimes when, you know, you see people, like I had a guy knocking me, you know, telling me I'm a fake. He was telling me, you know, you're not, you know, you're probably in debt over your head. You're this, you're that. And I'm like, okay, do I have debt? Yeah, I do have debt. So what? You know, I got jobs because I took debt sometimes. You know what I mean? Sometimes to get the equipment to do the job is better to wait and wait until you can afford the equipment. You can have the equipment paid off before you can't grow your business without the equipment. You know, so knowing your numbers, now I've said this before, I'll say it again. I don't believe you should go over 50% of your customer clientele. So what that mean? If you have debt or your expenses are at over 50%, I think you're in trouble in business. I'm not like that. I'm not close to. So what I make a month, if you cut that in half, that's not what I'm spending on my debt or my expenses. I really watch that number. Guys that start getting up there 70, 80% of what they take in, they're spending. You know, I don't like that. So, you know, I go to 50%. That's my thing. Some other questions that I have is residential versus commercial equipment. You know, everyone notices I have a Toro Time Master. All right, listen. I'm going to do an official review on the Time Master. I'm going to show you everything I hate about it and some things I like. But here's one thing I'm going to say. My zero turns, the workhorse, are commercial. The Time Master, I don't use it enough in a week to really, you know, apparently it's too much because I went through 2 transmissions. Now I'm working on my 3rd. So maybe it is too much. But for me, I don't care because it fulfills a niche for me. If I used a non-residential zero turn, I would have it destroyed within a week. The deck would be all bent up. It could not handle, because it's not powerful enough. They don't put a big enough engine on it. I would have it destroyed. That's all I'm going to say about that subject, because I know a lot of people out there use, you know, residential stuff. But I'm telling you, for me, For the acreage that I'm doing, not going to happen. Enjoy the video, YouTube!